days before polling in Maharashtra. We are very delighted. This is very special. It's taken a lot of effort. And so thank you. Really nice to have you.
For our women of substance, anytime.
So thank you very much. You know, I want to start by talking about women in democracy and women in power. And the most recent thing that's happened, and which has nothing to do with Indian politics, but just as a practitioner, I'm curious to know what you think of it. The fact that in the United States, we had Kamala Harris fighting to be the first American woman to become president. And yet somehow it didn't seem that the country was ready to have a woman as president. So as an Indian politician and understanding the psyche of voters, why do you think voters did not give that opportunity for a woman leader to be president of the United States?
Well, I can't comment on the voters in the United States of America, but certainly we are proud that India gave our women franchise the power to vote from the day we became independent. So much so that in all our local bodies across the country, women are representing in a very big way. Now, on Ganesh Chaturthi last year, we also have passed a law by which all the state assemblies and parliament, Lok Sabha, will also have 33% compulsory reservation for women members of parliament and members of legislature. So India is a country which has a rich legacy of respecting our women. In fact, they embody power, Shakti. तो हमारी मात्र शक्ति है और I think it's the success stories that India has had in politics about women holding high positions, right from the Honorable President of India, the first tribal woman president that India is proud to have. Again, a woman who's had a very, very illustrious life. She was a teacher, became an MLA, became a minister, and then again went back to social service, only to come back into public service as the President of India. I can also tell you about my own mother. She became a corporator in the Mumbai Corporation way back in 1978. She served in the Mumbai Corporation for 6 years, then went on to become a member of the Legislative Assembly without reservation. Both of these were without any reservation. On her own mettle, elected by the people of India, elected by the men in the constituency equally. And 3 times she was a member of the Legislative Assembly. And I think everybody in India respects our women, respects our women leaders in business, respects the wonderful work they're doing in public service, the wonderful work they do in government, and the fact that your channel is headed by a woman, Ms. Kali Puri.
She's here. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Speaks for itself, speaks for the great capabilities that our Indian women have. So I think Americans can learn a lesson or two from India.
Sure. Your government has promised to bring 33% reservation for women. Now, one of the concerns observers will have is that how do you ensure that these are organic candidates? In panchayats, we saw sarpanch patis. So basically, the woman was supposedly the panchayat head, but there was a husband. So how do we ensure that it's not the wives, daughters of politicians who take up these positions, and we're actually changing the nature of Indian politics?
Rahul, we should not micromanage the democratic system. We should allow it to evolve. Maybe. It's quite possible in a few cases we may start with some anomalies of this nature. But that doesn't mean we throw the baby out with the bathwater. Gradually things evolve, gradually they come of their own, they learn the ropes of public management and government. Look at what happened in Bihar, for example. You finally had the chief minister who initially looked only to be a representative of the husband, evolved to become a powerful chief minister herself. I don't know whether you've seen the OTT serial on this. What was the name of that serial? Was it? It was a serial about, similar to the Bihar politics, where the lady Maharani, that's right. Maharani.
आपको टाइम मिल जाता है सिनेमा देखने का?
अगर मुझे सेन रहना है तो मुझे जरूर कुछ ना कुछ रिक्रिएशन, एंटरटेनमेंट और इंडिया टुडे और आज तक के बियॉन्ड भी जाना पड़ेगा.
So what have you been watching of late? What's your top OTT recommendation right now?
What did we watch? Did we watch City of Dreams? Mamla Legal hai. Pankaj Tripathi in Mamla Legal hai. That's right. So I have my better half.
Who chooses? The better half chooses or you choose?
Are you happily married or no?
Very happy married. I think don't change my status also.
And do you choose or does your wife choose?
So we end up wasting a lot of time trying to determine what to watch. And then by the time we start watching, oftentimes, it's time to go to sleep.
By that time, Kalipuri calls you back to the office.
आप time ही कहाँ देते हो आप? The minister also, I'm surprised that you get time to watch because each time he's calling, it's usually at say 10:30, 11 at night. So I'm very shocked, honestly, to know that you managed to pull time.
No, I think that's something we should learn from the women, how to multitask. And I think what our women do is truly phenomenal. They look after their work or their business or their job. They look after their family. They instill value systems in their children. The kind of multitasking that our women can do, I think is truly phenomenal, and hats off to all of you and all the women of India. Having said that, I think both my wife and I enjoy our morning cup of tea together. We enjoy that at the end of a long day, whatever time it may be. There are times when we've switched on the television at 2 in the night. But we've made it a point that we spend some time together, exchange notes, have the telly blasting out something or the other beyond news. I mean, ultimately, end of the day, our work-life balance also has to be maintained. And that's why we really enjoy getting back home, whatever time of the night. Even during COVID, I used to be stressed through the day with a lot of challenges. But in the night, I remember watching the serial. It was quite scary on Charlie. What's that guy's name? Charles Sobraj. We were watching a pretty dark serial on Charles Sobraj. So I think this is a way that we can bring balance to our lives.
Interesting. I'm glad that you find things to do outside politics. I thought Modi Sarkar mein people are not allowed to do anything outside politics. Ki subah se leke raat tak kaam karo bas.
No, on the contrary, we are encouraged, because unless we connect with the people, unless we get to know what's happening in the world outside, we will be living in a silo and we'll be living disconnected from the people. You don't get elected into government third time around to serve the people if you are disconnected with what the people's aspirations and joys are.
Since Piyush ji has brought me into the conversation so many times, I feel it's absolutely polite to intervene in that conversation which is happening on stage. Since you asked him the question about Sarpanch Pati, where women become Sarpanch, but actually the husbands are running the show, I was expecting him to talk about the MP Wives Club, which is part of central government, which is such an important and powerful club of women who are the wives of MPs, and we should really discuss about where the real power there lies.
No, we have a brilliant system in our party, in the Bharatiya Janata Party, where our women MPs and the wives of all our members of parliament have formed a Kamal Sakhi club, friends of Kamal. And all of them meet each other, engage with each other regularly. And in those sessions, they even discuss issues of public interest. I remember they're having a presentation on what role they could do on skill development, on self-help groups. So I think we have a very powerful way in which our better halves also connect with each other.
One of the things that we've seen of late, particularly after the Madhya Pradesh elections, where Ladli Behan came in, now there's Ladki Bahin, the idea that somehow we are normalizing doles and cash transfers, particularly to women, And this is having, as you know, multiple effects. Of course, the women who get it really like it, and it helped you in Madhya Pradesh. It could potentially have a role to play in the Maharashtra elections. But the concern is that this is what the Modi government said they would not do, or the Prime Minister wasn't very keen on, that you get money just sitting at home. He'd rather that money be earned through productive means, or money be earned in a way that it becomes a virtuous cycle of more money coming in rather than the government giving these benefits. So how do you explain that? I mean, A, the populism, and B, the fact that, for example, in farm, labor is now hard to come by because they've got food grain, they got this money coming in, and they're having these spiral effects also.
Well, so I don't think it's just because they're getting free food grains or this Mandhan, honorarium as we call it. I think it's because more and more people are getting work. There's a great demand for people to work and in a way it demolishes the fake argument that as if a lot of people or everybody in India is unemployed. Sadly, some politicians equate employment with a government job, which is really sad. Employment is all our entrepreneurs, all the startups, all the women living in this, sitting in this room, all the achievers. Everybody is engaged in different activities. Having said that, this money that is given to the women is given without discrimination to all women from the middle class and the poor people. In some sense, a respect, in some sense, acknowledgement of the important role that women are playing in our society. The fact that they do so much more at home, which is not recognized, not acknowledged, not really calculated or given any sort of payback for the wonderful work they're doing as citizens of this country. So this can be really, it's an immaterial small amount. It can never, ever compensate for the huge value proposition that our women are doing in terms of maintaining India's rich cultural heritage, our legacy, our family value systems, our traditions. So no amount of money can ever make up for the wonderful work our women are doing. This is a small token of respect and which will help them tide over any emergency, help them meet some of their small aspirations or needs.
We're a few days away from Maharashtra going to polls. How is Maharashtra looking for you? In the Lok Sabha elections, we saw quite unexpectedly from the BJP's calculus, the Mahavikas Aghadi did incredibly well and the Mahayuti was on the back foot. Have you been able to arrest that situation? Are you concerned that Maharashtra is a very fractured polity and you don't really know what will emerge on the 23rd?
Well, I think I can tell you what will emerge on the 23rd is a clean sweep of the Mahayuti. We'll be doing extremely well. And I say that because even if you look at the Lok Sabha election results, the total difference in votes between our alliance, the Mahayuti, and the Mahavinash Aghadi, what's it called?
Vikas ko Vinash bana diya. Oh, okay. Such a casual slip there.
Well, that's what I can see when I see the work that their government did in Maharashtra during the short period they were there. But the vote difference between our alliance and the pretty unholy nexus of a Shiv Sena fraction and a Congress fraction vying for votes of only a particular section of society was only 2 lakh votes. In the whole state of Maharashtra, this large state, the difference in votes was only 2 lakhs. And more so, I think, tactically, they were able to get better results in certain areas. We lost about 11 seats. Just the BJP alone lost 11 seats with a vote difference of anywhere between a few hundred to maybe 20 or 30,000 or thereabouts. So I think there was a little bit of possibly less effort than what we should have put in. The workers of the party, the entire machinery is completely charged up. We are working as a united Mahayuti alliance. All the parties in the alliance are working towards a common goal to continue to bring progress to Maharashtra, continue the great infrastructure story, continue to bring jobs and industry and investment into the state, and continue to maintain the #1 status that Maharashtra enjoys in the entire country.
There's a lot of buzz at this time that the BJP behind closed doors is in touch with Uddhav Thackeray. That if you don't cross the majority, you hope to bring Uddhav Thackeray back. Since you know the family so well and you're a Maharashtra boy, can you just explain what you intend to do after the verdict?
I can very categorically state there's absolutely no behind the scenes discussion, dialogue or contact. We are strongly with the Shiv Sena. We have no relations with the faction of the Shiv Sena left behind, which calls itself Ubata. We have nothing to do with the small faction left behind. We are with the original Shiv Sena. The bow and arrow is the symbol of the Shiv Sena. They are working on the principles of Bala Sahib Thackeray Sahib. And I can assure you that with the Shiv Sena, the Rashtravadi Congress, the RPI Athavale Group and the BJP jointly presenting a very strong front. The people of Maharashtra are looking for continuing the good work that this government has done, and they also want to see a government which is aligned with the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to make India a developed nation, Viksit Bharat, by 2047 when we celebrate 100 years of independence.
Minister, we're coming to the end of this conversation. When you came in, it was very ironical to me that you said कि बहुत traffic है बाहर. वो तो हम लोग सब हमेशा ही बोलते हैं, but your job, interestingly, is one which can change that. So do you want to lay out what you hope to do for Mumbai and for Maharashtra in terms of improving the infrastructure and making all our lives easier?
Well, you know, a lot of infrastructure projects had got stalled during the Mahavinash Aghadi's regime. Too complicated to remember. Mahayuti is easy, you know. Maharashtra Yuti, Mahayuti. And sadly, that has cost us dear. For example, the coastal road would have been completed by now up to Bandra, but for the slow pace during the Uddhav Thackeray regime of 30 odd months. But we are now soon completing the last connection at Worli. And after that, this will be complete up to Bandra. We have also got approval. Environment clearance has been done, tendering has been done, and now the work is going to start to take the coastal road all the way up to Bhayandar. So you can reach from Nariman Point to Bhayandar in about 20-25 minutes. My constituency, it takes me a long time to reach today because of all the traffic on the way. I'll be able to go there in less than 30 minutes from town. And that's the transformation you will see happening with infrastructure developing on the western corridor. Similarly, look at the Trans-Harbour Link, the Atal Setu. That was a project, friends, which was conceptualized in 1962. I was not even born. 1962, the Atal Setu concept was started. People even back then had realized that Mumbai is an island city. If we don't connect it with the mainland, Mumbai will become a mess. And if the governments, then governments, and you know who ran governments for most of the years, had at that point of time implemented that project, we wouldn't be having to face all these traffic problems and the high density of population that we see in the island city of Mumbai. We would have by now been developing a large part of the area beyond the Atal Setu, which is the mainland. And then there would have been no dearth of space to grow. Having said that, when Devendra Fadnavis became the chief minister in 2014, he quickly got his act together, quickly got down to finalizing plans. 2016, Prime Minister Narendra Modi did the foundation stone of Atal Setu, and now that is a reality. Again, that was a project that was delayed during the Mahavinash Aghadi government, but after we got Eknath Shinde back into the seat of power in Maharashtra as a Mahayuti chief minister, the project was completed and Mr. Modi has come and inaugurated it. How many of you have been on the Atal Setu? How was the experience? Was it a wow moment? That's what you call a wow.
ये सर अपना साथ में वोट भी मांगते जा रहे कि I can turn it into a mini business today sabha. Okay, I get that. Last question, sir.
मैंने किसी को भी रिक्वेस्ट किया क्या कि आप महायुति को वोट करिए? Did I request you even once? I am only telling you the humble work that we've done in the interests of Maharashtra, in the interests of Mumbaikars. I myself am a Mumbaikar and my heart beats for Mumbai.
Sure. Minister, one last question and then we wrap up. It's now clear that Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States. During his campaign, he made a big deal about wanting to increase tariffs. He called India tariff king. Now, if Lighthizer becomes trade representative again, and you've had many conversations with him in the past about a free trade agreement or a special trade agreement, how do you see Donald Trump's threat of increasing trade tariffs with India impacting the balance of trade which is currently in India's favor?
See, I have not asked Rahul to ask me these questions. We don't engage much in any case with the Rahuls. But he's leading me on. He's giving me an opportunity to remind all of you that Mr. Donald Trump maybe once or twice may have said that India has very high tariffs. But look at the number of times he said that Prime Minister Modi is a great guy. Prime Minister Modi is a wonderful person. Prime Minister Modi is my friend. India is a great country. The people of India are wonderful. Did he not say that the Hindu community in America or in Bangladesh did not worry? I'm coming into government and I will protect you. I will make sure nothing goes wrong with you. I think in more ways than one, Mr. Donald Trump has made it very clear that he likes India, he likes the people of India, he wants to expand business with India, he wants to do more trade with India, and he wants to work with his good friend, Prime Minister Modi. So you don't worry, I had wonderful relations with Bob Lighthizer. It would be great to have him come back as USTR. I'm sure he'll have an important position in the new Trump administration. And I can assure you, and through you and your channel, all the people of India and all the wonderful ladies here, we have great times ahead in the India-US partnership, friendship, and brotherhood.
You are not worried about tariff hikes?
Well, if it's a tariff hike on China, it only helps India. If it's a tariff hike on everybody, we are all in the same boat. We'll still continue to do well. But I personally believe India is looked upon as a trusted partner by the democratic world. The democratic world wants to work with India because of 4 Ds. Democracy, we have the rule of law, justice prevails, we have demand, 1.4 billion aspirational Indians wanting a better quality of life, working hard with skill, with talent, and many of them represented in this room, all your award winners, all the other wonderful people here. 3, we have the advantage of demographic dividend, a young population. The average age of all Indians is between 28 and 29 years and expected to remain young for many years, which gives us the opportunity to leverage this young population, expand skills, talent. By the way, we have more STEM graduates coming out of India than any other country. And 43% of those STEM graduates are women. So we have a great opportunity with the demographic dividend. And finally, and obviously, we have decisive leadership. A leadership that can bite the bullet, take bold decisions, and take the country to newer heights.
Speaking of bullets, Trump has been very keen on selling Harley Davidsons and insisting that we reduce tariffs there. Maybe you could allow that also.
We would have absolutely no problem. Products where there's no competition, where India doesn't, we don't manufacture the Harley Davidson type of heavy bikes. So I would have absolutely no problem in considering a request of that sort.
Interesting. We'll leave it there. We're here for the big award night, so we'll talk about tariffs on Harley Davidson later, but there's an interesting suggestion that we're willing to reduce tariffs there. So thank you very much. We have a lot of you still on the stage, but for this conversation, Minister, thank you very much.